The way that the San Antonio Houston series played out.
I wasn't surprised because they're a machine. You know, they just keep going at you no matter who's on the court. They don't run their system. Similar to us, I feel like, you know, where guy goes down, somebody steps in. And it's not mainly because, you know, they just gave Jonathan Simmons the ball and say, hey, go score for us. They ran a perfect offense against that defense, and Coach Pop put them in great positions to be successful and to use their strengths. So I wasn't surprised that they won a series, but I was kind of surprised how the last game ended or how the last game went. But that's just the Spurs, man. They just, you know, that's why they got the utmost respect, because no matter who's on the court, they just keep coming at you.
Being that you played the Spurs a few times in your career in the playoffs, what are some takeaways you can, head into this series with?
Nothing. You know who they are. I mean, it's not like I have an advantage or, over the rest of my teammates. You know what the Spurs do. You know, they play great defense. They move the ball. They play together. They play for each other. And every time down, they play with passion and energy that you can't really see unless you're out there on the court. You know, it's kind of hard to see what they do and wonder why they're so good unless you're out on the court with them. So us as players, we got respect for them, but we know we have to come out there and be who we are. We try to dictate the tempo. I know they're going to try to dictate it. That's why both teams are where they are, because they dictate the tempo in both series. So we're going to have to, try to fight against that, and we'll see what happens.
You think playing a team like Utah that muddies up the game, similar to San Antonio, kind of is going to help you out in this series?
I definitely think it helped. You know, I feel like Utah runs the same type of offense, different players, of course, but the same, flow type of offense where they pass and look for a great shot, and definitely test your defense and test your endurance on the defense side of the ball. And I think we did a solid job in that series, but that's over with. It's a new team, new personnel, new group of guys that we got to get ready for.
Katie, how much have things changed from that very first game of the season?
It seemed like years ago, to be honest. You know, I think both teams have gotten so much better. In the playoffs, stuff happens. You know, Tony Parker went down, which was unfortunate, and guys had to step up. You know, we switched our lineups up a bit, our rotations up a bit. So both teams has gotten way better since then, and that game shouldn't even matter when it comes to, on Sunday. But personnel, you know who these guys are individually. It's just on us to go out there and execute the plan.
Is this just the right amount of rest? I mean, you guys get to get back out there Sunday. Are you glad that maybe that one didn't go Game 7 so that you get it rolling?
I mean, that type of stuff you have no control over, so you can't even worry about, what happens. And, we're all professionals here. We've all been in the league for multiple years, and guys have been on teams that have gone this far in the playoffs before. So you know how you take care of your body, how you're supposed to prepare. So, obviously you want to play, but, it's not like we were just super excited. We got 5-6 days of rest, but we know that, it's important to get re-energized and mentally and physically, but at the same time, stay sharp.
You mentioned having fun with that Kawhi matchup. How might it change at all with him having a tough ankle injury right now?
If he's a soldier, man. He's a fighter, and if he's out there, he's not gonna make any excuses. And if anybody's out there, I mean, I'm guessing they're full strength. So, I know he's gonna want to play. Just not even knowing him well, but just kind of knowing him as a basketball player, that he's going to want to play. And, that's what all great players do. They fight through injuries, fight through bumps and bruises and circumstances. And he'll be out there. It'll be fun to match up against him, but it's not me versus him. It's a team thing, and I think, we got a lot of guys that throw at him and make him and get him uncomfortable, but he is who he is. He does what he does, and it's going to be tough to stop, but, we do it as a group.
Would you view this series as maybe a changing of the guards type of a series? You see San Antonio, with the Ginobili, Parker, and obviously Tim Duncan retired last season. You're on the downside of that era. This team is very youthful and exuberant, and you guys are coming in as kind of like the young guys. Would you kind of view that as maybe as like a changing of the guard kind of a series?
No, I mean, you guys have so much time to think about those narratives, right? We don't. we just play the game. We know what those guys do, whether it's Pau Gasol, Ginobili. We know how they impact the game. That's what we're focused on more than anything, and that's what you're here for, is to come up with stuff like that, which is definitely something that you'll think about. As a fan of the game and seeing it and watching the game for so long. But as players, we know what Ginobili can go out there and hurt us. We know Pau Gasol can come out, have a huge series, along with the rest of the veteran guys. So, we got to be prepared for that as well.
What do you have to watch for and be focused on when you're defending Kawhi?
Well, just trying to make his catches tough, make his shots tough, and can't get discouraged. A player that gets the ball, who has the ball a lot, and gets control of the offense, creates for so many other people, he creates for himself. His confidence is sky high right now, and getting more opportunities. He's gonna make tough shots. He's gonna hit you with a good move, or you're gonna get screened and he's gonna make a shot over two guys. That's just how it is. But if you try to make it tough, make him inefficient, and make him have to get up a lot of shots to get his points, then I look at it as a solid night. But if you win, all that stuff really doesn't matter. But for the most part, just try to make it tough on him, and just try to make his catches tough. But can't just get discouraged when he makes tough shots.
Small a lot in the Houston series, more than they typically do with Simmons and some of that. Do you expect them to try to attack you right away in game one with maybe smaller lineups than their two traditional big lineups?
They won last night by 30 against a small team with the big lineup, I think. They had Gasol and LA out there wreaking havoc in the paint. So they could play either way. Who knows, man? We didn't play small. We've been played big. We've played against switching everything. We played against traditional defenses. So we got small players that can adjust. We'll see what happens.
They beat you in the opener. I think they had 21 offensive rebounds. You were a guy that kind of prided yourself defensively, rebounding. I mean, how important in that series? That may be one of your top things you need to do is defensive rebounds. Yeah, most definitely. And that's how they won this last series, I think, by keeping the basketballs alive. And we talked about that. We know they murdered us. They murdered us in that first game, but that was the first game of the season. And they've gotten so much better. We've gotten so much better. We got so much comfortable with each other since then. But we know that offensive rebounding is something that always translates no matter what. And, if we end up giving up that many offensive rebounds, they take more shots than us, it's going to be hard for us to win. So we all got to get in there and rebound. I know myself, I got to go in there and do a better job of, trying to get double-digit rebounds. And, that unlocks our fast break. So. But we got to make them shoot tough shots, but we got to finish it with a rebound, like you said.
You just played the third game against them, but obviously a lot of things went right. What did you see that turned that first game around?
Third
Is that when they came back from 22 down?
Yeah. I felt like they played extremely well to start the game. Their crowd was in it. They got up like 23-2 or 3 or something like that, and on the road it's hard to overcome that. But I think we just stay with our game plan. That's what we always do. No matter if we're down 20, we don't rush. We stick with our plan and try to exhaust the team out, and that's what we did in that game. And but that doesn't matter. It's new. It's a new season. What happens in the regular season doesn't matter at all. And we know it's a different game plan. You be more prepared than ever against the team because you got a few days to prepare for them. So, we know these guys. They know us. But that, what happened in the regular season doesn't matter at all.
As a competitor, you don't think that will sit a little bit in the back of their minds or in yours, that you could do that if you got down?
They know we can do that no matter if that happened or not. Teams don't stop playing when they get up against us, and we don't stop playing when we get down. So they know what can happen. We know what can happen if we get up, and they can fight back and get back into the game. So it's not like they're thinking about that third game, just like, we're not really thinking about the first game of the season. We know what they do, like I said. We know how they approach the game. They're well coached. They're a machine, like I said earlier. They just keep doing the same stuff over and over until they find a weakness and they exploit it. And we got to be on point.
As always know, Coach Cobb is the greatest coaches ever. But as you see, what is the scariest weapon from him?
I'm sorry?
Scariest weapon from Coach Cobb?
I mean, he's just innovative. You know, he's a lot of the schemes that you see in the league now. It feels like you know you first seen it with the Spurs, whether it's you know forcing the guy in the post, forcing him on the baseline, and having the double team come from the baseline, or running the hammers out of timeout. You know what a hammer is, where you start the wing and somebody screens you to the corner for a wide open three, or you know, so if the wedge pick and roll. I mean, if you go back and look at film, you know what I'm talking about. I know it sounds like like foreign language, but you know some of the stuff that a lot of teams do, they get it from the Spurs, and well, so many coaches that coach with the Spurs end up around the league as well, just because they have such a great system. So I just feel like he's innovative, and you never can underestimate a great championship, mindset, and that's what they have over there. And we got the utmost respect for him, but we also know what we do. We know that we're a dangerous team as well, that plays together, that plays for each other, plays with energy, and plays defense. So, it's going to be two great teams clashing.
Kevin, do you feel like your defense has gotten better here at the Warriors, and do you think you've been an underrated defensive player throughout your career?
Underrated?
Yeah.
My coaches don't feel like that. I've gotten better since, 2013 is where I thought I really turned the corner as a defender. And around 2012, that's when coaches stopped thinking they can go at me and get a basket, or I can get me in foul trouble. But I don't expect anybody on the outside of who really doesn't know the game to look at me as a defender, because once you label something, that's what you're gonna be. But I feel these last 4 or 5 years, I've definitely I continue to keep getting better and better and smarter. And I have the physical tools, but it's also about mentally knowing what to do. But I don't feel like I get picked on or people call sets just to try to score on me. That hasn't happened in a while. But I also know where I'm vulnerable at, which is, boxing out, getting rebounds where I, banging down low with the big fellas. I definitely have to get better at that, but I've grown leaps and bounds from where I was. So I feel like I've been a solid defender in this league for a while.
Great, thank you.